What is poppin' YouTube? Is your boy Deemybaby. I'm back in another video today. And today's video I'm going to give you a story time of how I left my first part-time job. So if you are new, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Where I am, I'm in my living room right now. I have another story time for y'all. But this video might be another 10 to 20 minute video. So get your popcorn ready, get your chips ready. Because we are going to talk about a lot of stuff today. And I'm going to keep these videos rolling out because the last motivation video, y'all give like about 6 likes. So the next video can get 6 likes again, I would very much appreciate it. And let's get right into the story. But make sure if you have like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And we're going to roll the 300 subscribers so we can hit that as soon as possible. I very much appreciate it. And let's run the story time. Alright, so
first part-time job.
In my experience of working, actually I worked in a summer camp before my first part-time job. It was at a grocery store, which I told y'all back in my last video. If y'all can want to watch those last 2 videos where I talked about it, go watch that. But I work in a grocery store, and before I liked working in summer camps because I like being around people, I like meeting people, I like meeting the staff and being part of the staff and making activities for the camp. It's kind of a chill job. But back to the story time of when I got my first part-time job. This is my first part-time job because the other one, the summer camp job, it was through co-op, so it wasn't really a real job. It was basically a summer job, but it wasn't really a temporary job to have in the long term. Make sense? But anywho, back to what I was explaining about. So back to part-time job. So basically, how I told you on the last video, how I got my surgery and stuff. Y'all can go watch that. Check my past, whatever y'all heard the past, whatever. Woo. And then yeah, I was looking for jobs and stuff because I took a year off school. I was graduated. I finished school, as I told y'all in my last video. So y'all know how the rundown pretty much goes, right? So I was looking for a job, whether it was part-time or full-time. I'll take it because honestly, when I worked last summer, it was so fun. And I got a good pay, so it was a pretty good job. And now I'm seeing that if I can work and keep working, I can stack my money up as I was graduating, and then as I had a year off and just make money at the same time and do whatever I like doing, whether it's going with my friends, chilling at the house, or doing whatever, or where I am here. So, but basically, honestly, the part-time job, I was looking around everywhere. I honestly went to many places like Foot Locker, Champs, Old Navy, SVP. There's so many other like basically like shoe and fashion stores, H&M, Old Navy. There's like so many stores I could talk to. It would be really a full story, but I literally went to the malls almost every day, like to just look for jobs, drop my resumes off, talking to managers. I would just waste my time. I didn't like waste my time, so yeah, I literally kept going, and I even went to gym too, like Good Life, Planet Fitness. There's so many places I went to, but yeah, it was like a long process. But back where I was, back at my dad's house, there's a grocery store nearby. I'm not gonna say where it was, but back at my dad's house, there's a nearby grocery store. And my homie, my friend worked there. Was also my neighbor Joshua. If you don't know Joshua, he's an OG. I knew Joshua back from when I moved there as a kid because my parents got married. So yeah, we've been friends since, and we've been good neighbors, and I play ball outside together. If you know, you know. I'll probably put something about him on the screen here, but if you know, you know. But Joshua, he's an OG, and he's like, yo, contact a manager. She'll probably hook you up with a job because he's probably been there for about a year and a half. So I'm like, all right, cool. And so I called various locations. He said first to go look at other locations first. But basically when I looked at other locations, they weren't hiring, and then he said the place nearby us was hiring, so I went there. And then yeah, I went to my store. I gave my resume. The first, I think I gave it on first. I also applied from a long time ago from grade 10, but I didn't get in. That's when he wasn't in. But he applied like I think 1 or 2 years ago or the year before. But I've been applying there. I never got in, so I don't know if he slotted me through or whatever. But basically, they're probably looking for new people at the time because of COVID and with heavy lockdown. So this was when lockdown at its peak and essential stores were only open, so this makes complete sense. So basically, I asked the manager, Woo, and then she's like, oh, she's a very nice person. It's like, oh, drop your resume off at the cashier. They'll take it, no problem. I'm like, okay, cool. And then, yeah, they took me in for an interview probably a week later, and there was many other applicants that was COVID, and they needed people, so it made sense, and they took me no problem. So basically, I took them after the interview, it took them about a week to call me. They said your interviews were this day, blah, blah. The person trained me, I went in for training, did all my paperwork and all that. It was pretty much common sense, as a regular job would go. I sent my paperwork, I did my training and all that. It wasn't a hard thing to do on that day. Basically just training and basically orientation, talking about the rules, your pay and all that. It's basically common sense. And yeah, I got no problem. My entry position was like a store clerk, so I was basically around the store, just stocking shelves and all that. and greeting customers as they come in and basically doing simple stuff and working as a cashier, which I didn't do, which I didn't get experience to do, but it's okay. I'll soon get to it. So basically, it was COVID. I think I was working at part-time, so I got like 2 shifts a week. So basically, I think the shift I got for the week, I think it was like about 1 or 2 times a week for like about 4 to 5 hours. I'm right, because it was part-time, right? So you're probably working like roughly about probably 10 to 30 hours, depending on if, because I was new, so I'll probably say for part-time, you'll probably get like about 10 to 8 hours if you're lucky, because you're starting off in your first week, right? So, yeah, I worked the part-time hours. My first shift, it went pretty chill. For the first day of the training, it was kind of confusing because, they told me to go to this person, and the person wasn't there for training, and then they're just saying, the training honestly was back and forth because, they were saying this person's supposed to train you and the other person's training me, and then it was kind of a mix, it was kind of back and forth, but the training honestly was kind of rushed and didn't really take much time as I was in the store, and it was kind of my first day, so they kind of gave me a leeway about it. I was kind of still confused about the job and the people there. Some people there taught me the stuff and some people didn't, and then I just looked like a complete dummy doing the job because I wasn't really trained in the store a lot, because basically when I was stocking, I was in produce. I was stocking the fruits, the vegetables, and all that. And basically how it was there, it didn't go well. So basically, honestly, I didn't think I got trained properly because there were about 2 or 3 staff. They didn't really care. They trained me and saying, oh, basically they told me about the overall of the store. They gave me a tour and all that and la la la. I don't think they trained me to how I thought that I was gonna get trained. So basically, I thought the training was like a week or something. You go in the store and tell you the series about like the training, your job, whatever it is. I didn't know, but basically, I just literally thought I got trained on the job, and basically they show you what to do and all that, and they give you a tour. And I don't think it did. It was like that because the training honestly just procedures and some stuff was in the job, but I didn't get a hands-on experience. If that makes sense. So basically, as I got to the job, I was just tossed in and I went to work right away. Basically how it was. But lately, I just thought I'll get training like from that day onwards, from that week I started. I thought they did take me on a store, gave me a tour and all that. I just thought I would have gotten more hands-on experience with the job and all that. But I don't think I really got it because I was being rushed by the staff before doing certain tasks. So it was a grocery store, so the heavy environment, and that made sense. But at the end of the day, I don't think I got trained properly because the person that was supposed to train me, he wasn't there, and then I'd be sent to someone else, and then he was running late. It's kind of just unorganized, and I didn't really know. They're like, "Oh, you're here for training?" Like, "Oh, really?" I didn't take note of the day I was there for training or whatever it is, and they probably just forgot about me. And didn't know I was new or whatever it was, and they kind of understood, but they didn't really care because they didn't want their money at the end of the day. But that's a day thing for another day. So basically, I just try to keep myself in position, try to do the best I can. And I caught into a job a little bit, but I still need a bit of help, but I didn't really get the help I needed. And then basically I was there for about the first 1-2 weeks. I think it went okay. I did my shifts. People were nice there. I saw the cool environment, but it was kind of stressful at the same time because, like I said, I wasn't trained properly. I was kind of lost at work, and I didn't know really what I was doing because basically our produce work, whatever is empty, you gotta fill it ASAP. So I filled it. I did whatever I could. I asked people if they needed help with anything. They didn't say anything. They basically say to just no, but I just literally asked for confirmation. But that's the story for another day. So basically, just to summarize everything, the training go as I thought it would be. But literally, that's how it was. And then the first 1-2 weeks,
I was doing produce, and then produce didn't really work out about going to the next 3-4 weeks, and then they started cutting my shifts.
Oh! And when that happened, I understood because of COVID, but the other time, I was kind of just annoying. So basically, I said I was there for 2 times a week, or maybe 3 if you want to be lucky. It basically just cut to 1. I understand I wasn't doing a lot, but the manager there, she was in and out of the store. She didn't really guide me how I wanted to. I basically say hi, hello, how you doing? And then she's like, if you need any help, let me know. I really get a lot of advice from my manager and working the job. She just hired me like that. So that experience in working and stuff as I worked in the camps, I did volunteer work in school. So basically it all made sense at the end of the day. But basically I didn't think I had a good relationship with my manager because my manager there now as a manager, I feel like if employees are uncomfortable, you have to be comfortable. That makes sense, and that did not happen. So basically, yeah, she puts me at the door, and then I text my dog Josh. I'm like, yo, I was, or just think you're late, so just put late people there. I'm like, excuse me? And then, yeah, so basically I'm just there for the one shift a week at the door almost every day. It just got so boring to a point, like, I just really got so exhausted and it was so draining. I had to literally let people into the store because it was a capacity limit when working, and it was kind of so stressful. Like, it was so stressful to a point now where I just wanted to fall. So boring to a point I literally just want to walk out of work. And then also, to even top this on, the assistant manager, bro, I swear he hated me. The other manager, he didn't really like me. I know you want to keep his staff organized and all that, but I literally, when I was there,
He scared the shit out of me.
like, let me tell you, my first shift there, I was using a cutter my dad gave me because literally, you know how you're opening the box and you gotta cut them open, and you gotta cut them open and use what's that thing called? I'm trying to think. You have to use a cutting knife to cut the board open. I basically bought it from my dad. He basically just told me that there wasn't a cover over it, and he said I can't use it. I'm like, all right, cool. And he gave me a cutting knife, and I got it done, so it wasn't a big deal. But you know me, it was cold. I don't really like borrowing from people and spreading diseases like that. And so I just borrowed from my dad. I'm like, yo, I need a cutting board and I need gloves. Can you give it to me? He gave it to me, no problem. So yeah, he gave it to me, and then he told me I couldn't use it. He gave me a cutting board, cutting knife, and then every time I go to my shift, literally I'll say hi, so and so. What? How are you doing? It's like, oh, hey there, how you doing? And give me like some weird gesture. Like, literally, bro, when I went into work, it was literally hell. Every time I went there, she would literally be eyeballing the hell out of me. It was so scary. I don't even want to tell about the experience. It was literally so scary to the point when that first point on, I just literally knew he was miserable, first off. Two, another thing was, I knew that he didn't really like me as a person because I'll get to it later. And then three, it was literally just a hostile environment right there. And then as this happened, as he was looking bad at me, and he was talking how I had to instruct him multiple times because I'm deaf and I can't really understand people sometimes. So those OGs know that, but I didn't really think they didn't know that. I don't really think they knew that, but they kind of didn't in a sense. But basically, I had to learn this early, so I kind of missed them. I didn't really understand. Basically, but it was just terrible. Besides that, about him re-explaining stuff to me, whatever. I don't know. I just didn't. He just didn't like me. I didn't like him. That's how it was at work. If you know at work, you know. But yeah, I was at the door. It got so boring. I didn't really get the experience I wanted to. I didn't get the hours I wanted to. On the first 2 weeks, I was literally when my hours got cut, I tried to ask for more hours. They didn't give it to me, which made sense because it was COVID, and I couldn't get it done. So I just wanted more hours. I thought I could get more hours, but there was staff and seniority, so they basically just took the staff to have seniority. So it all made sense at the end of the day. But literally just summarize everything. I didn't like working there. I let the door, got boring. And then produce, they shipped me out of produce after 2-3 weeks. I didn't like it. They tried me in grocery about a day, and they didn't give me a week or so to try it. They literally shipped me out of that too. I didn't work in any department. So that just summarized off. I didn't get into cash. I didn't get the grocery just tossed me out. Pros, I got tossed. And but yeah, I just literally didn't get the experience I wanted to summarize off. And then I was there for about a month or so, and then let's fast forward. Let's say at that door I didn't like it. Let's say I was there for about a month and a half or whenever, about 3 weeks almost. Coming the next week, let's fast forward. The employee asked me, is my probation period up? As y'all know, the probation period is when they can fire you or when they can keep you, whatever, basically. So basically, the probation period, I think it was probably about 2 months. I was really unsure about the probation period, but it kind of made sense as most work periods are probably like 2, 3, 6 months. So it made sense. And then he's like, okay, cool. And then he literally spoke to my manager. Then he spoke to my manager. He's like, yeah, the manager wants to talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. And so basically, he took me in the office. And then basically how it worked was he basically asked my coworker to ask could he run his probation period because that's when my time was up. And so I'm in the office now, and it's about Christmas time. So basically, I was there. I applied from October, so Thanksgiving. Fast forward to about December before Christmas. He comes up and tells me straight to my face that look, I'm gonna basically you're not doing enough based off colleagues' response to me and everything, and anyone talking about me saying they weren't good, and they were saying how like I wasn't doing enough at work and how like I wasn't trying whatever. And then I was basically trying to calm myself and trying to speak up, but she wouldn't let me speak up at all. I couldn't speak at all. I literally had to listen, saying how I wasn't doing enough at work when I'd always be on time. I'd always try my best at work, and I literally would do anything possible, and I literally help my staff members each out any way possible. I tried to myself. She didn't let me talk. So basically, I was saying, yeah, King, we're not doing enough. Basically, off my peers, they were saying you're not doing enough, you're not trying, whatever. When I was, but it wasn't until how I thought it was. Basically, it was just a stressful job. I didn't really like it. It gave me a complete headache sometimes. And as my manager told me, she's like, look, I'm straight to the point. She's like, look, by the end of the shift, we have to come to a decision whether, after the shift, you have one more shift after, and you can either keep your job, or I can just let you go. Oh! So, basically, just gave me one shift to keep my job. If I do good, they just give me one shift to basically improve if I can stay or go. Basically, I'm like, basically just talked about it. He just talked about it, went on procedures and all that, and saying, during this shift, I'll determine you can keep your job, you'll be with me the whole time, and then you'll do whatever it is, the work, the grocery, whether it's grocery pros, whatever it is. I don't know, it's a long story. And then she was saying that I could either make me decide if I want to keep you or I want to let you go. And so basically, I'm like, all right, cool. She gave me some gift for all the staff or whatever, so it was cool. It wasn't really a bad deal, but it kind of got to me in a sense, because basically, what it was, if was I fired or was I given an opportunity for my job? And so basically, my mom's like, I spoke to my mom about it. It's like, literally, Kim, you should have left. They told you that because they're just telling you shit off. Because my parents know when I go to work, I didn't really have any complaints. I tried my best at work. I did as much as I can. I did as much work as possible. And even staff that I work with now in recreation, they even notice. And they're like, wow, that's such a long story, and I'm sad to hear that. And yeah, I didn't work out. I went to work my last shift when I wasn't supposed to. I should have just left straight up, but I worked the 4 hours. So yeah, I literally just thought about it when I was at my last shift. I'm like, literally, why am I even here? Like, should I even like doing things I'm like, why am I even here? If it's not something I like doing, why do I want to be here long term? Why am I going to stress myself? As I was going through a lot at a time, basically. I was going through a lot at a time. Depression, COVID, everything. Life, just everything hit me like that. So that's how it went. And then, yeah, I basically came to the conclusion that, you know what? I called my sister up. I'm like, yo, they tell me this, that. They told me that give me one more shift to keep your job, and then whatever, woo. And then she's like, why are you even going here? Just literally just leave and quit. F off. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I text my other homies. I'm like, yo, this is going on, and then they want me to either leave or stay. And my friend was like, fuck that. What's the point of being staying there if we're not gonna give you the hours you want? You don't see a career advancement, and it's been 2 months, and they're all giving you hostage. Just leave. So, yeah, I took people's opinions, and then just on break at a time. I got like a 15-minute break. I called everyone I know. I called my mom. I called my parents. Like, literally, and my parents were like, literally, why you stay there? You should have literally left and stopped being nice to them. Just literally left as the shit went. But you have a right to quit if it's unsafe work or you don't feel it's suitable for you. And I feel like your mental, honestly, is the most important thing, because your mental health is better than anything else. So I'm on my break now. I really just think about it, and then come the end of my shift, I go to my manager. I say, look, I said literally, if you give me one more shift, I may as well just go. That's all I said to just summarize it off. And he's like, okay, cool, I understand. And if you need anything else, you can, or a reference or something, let me know. I'll be grateful to give you a reference. So I said, screw that. And then we were basically talking forever. I just wasted my time talking, and then yeah, I was done. I quit my first part-time job because it didn't make sense. It didn't work out for me. It was very stressful, and I was just sad. And I was going through a lot of time. My parents wrote out for me, and they didn't keep my shit in confidential because basically, when I basically told you about the person that told me about my probation period, they should have kept that private to another staff member and said, can you ask him and call my office and ask my probation period? That's basically a signal saying basically either you're gone or it's basically saying one, you're gone, or two, your time is up. But literally, you should have kept that confidential and kept it to herself. She literally should have came to me on one and said, hi, Clean, can I come speak to my office? I'm like, alright, cool. And then brought the discussion up, and then I would understand. And what pissed me off is how they had to tell another staff member about my work situation. Make sense? Basically, just literally told the staff member, go get kdeemo, ask what my probation period is, I might let him go. It didn't make sense. And then I even told my homie Josh, like, yo, you told me 2-3 weeks in, people are talking shit about you, you're saying you're not doing enough, you're lazy, you're this and that. I didn't really care. He didn't say shit to my face. Literally, he literally told me this. I'm like, Lily, I'm going to keep doing me. If they want to keep talking, they can say it to my effing face. I don't really care. But then as I saw the jokes, I just started laughing at him, and then after it was true. Even my homeboy that I thought I messed with at work, he didn't like me. So be it. But literally, if anyone had a problem with me, I should have went up to them and told them at once how I felt, and that talking trash in a workplace is bad. I know if you're working in a workplace, that's how it's going to be, but literally, I feel like if you're working, your shit should be kept confidential. Trust me. I don't care who judges me on this video, this is my own decision at the end of the day, as I am the person that is making this video, and I'm having the courage to come clean about this and talk to you guys about work and life and how my life is going and how my path was. I don't want anyone to go through this. I want y'all to learn from this, to really apply this, and take it throughout life. But yeah, basically no one liked me there. I thought I was cool there, but it didn't work out. So yeah, I just left, quit my job, and I'm living life. So I'm getting what I want. So be it. So basically, after my job, I was really going through depression and going through trauma and shit. And yeah, I waited 6 months, got my job now, and I'm moving. And as COVID is back now, everything back to normal. So yeah, this story time is a good 25 minutes. I might make small cuts, but I won't make like real edits like that. But I just wanted story time to tell y'all about this. As yeah, so time push for everything. Basically after my job, I just waited 6 months.
2 seconds later.
Okay. Alright. Back to what I was saying. The video is basically done. I got interrupted, but the video is done. I'll cut it out. But basically, y'all, just literally do you. If you don't like what you're doing, you have all rights to quit or just put your 2 weeks notice in. And yeah, don't let anything discourage you. If you feel bad at work or you don't like the thing you're doing, you can literally just put your 2 weeks notice in. And you can just leave or find something else or just quit. It's a part-time job, so it won't hurt you, but if it's a career, then that's a different story. But yeah, the video's already over, so that's all that matters. And basically, it's your boy Deemybaby. Might be a 30-minute, 20-minute video. Have a good day, y'all. I'm out. Peace.